When the world ends, what would you choose? Run or fight? The towers appeared without warning. Massive, ominous, deadly. As people gather below, fear etches every face. One declares it's the apocalypse. Another whispers of humanity's summoning. Then comes the message, a choice that will define everything. A warrior raises his weapon high, screaming for humanity's survival. Meet the Tower Walkers. Chosen warriors dressed in shadows and determination. A screech pierces the air. Monsters emerge from the depths. One walker dashes forward, blade gleaming. The slash cuts deep. Blood splatters. Enemies fall, and from their defeat, something precious materializes. A glowing blue stone appears in his palm. Regression Stones. The rugged warrior grips the shimmering crystal tight. I'll give it a try, he declares. Energy erupts with tremendous force. Blue light overwhelms everything. The young walker watches in shock as his comrade vanishes in brilliant radiance. Has he gone? The question hangs heavy in the air. Two figures stand in shadow, watching more walkers disappear into the past. We're doomed anyway. One cries in desperation. His companion nods grimly, reaching for his own stone. They observe the exodus with growing dread. Are these the last to abandon their timeline? Hope fades with every vanishing soul. A monster screech splits the air. Wham! Violence erupts. The dark-haired walker, sweat beading his brow, shouts for his companion. Let's go, Yanhuan. But when he turns, Yanhuan lies motionless on the blood-soaked ground. The desperate call echoes unanswered. Time is running out. Blood streams down the young walker's face as he whispers an apology. The shadowy figure asks if he'll use the stone. I'm sorry, comes the broken reply. But a haunting question lingers. What about the world they'd leave behind? A brilliant beam erupts from the earth. Another soul abandons their timeline. In a frozen wasteland, one man stands defiant. Ice creatures with crystalline fangs surround him, but his resolve never wavers. I'm not going back, he declares through gritted teeth. Others warn him. No one has ever tried to exit alone. But this warrior has made his choice. He's not returning to the past. The dark-haired fighter grips his sword with deadly intent. His goal is clear, to climb the tower. But in the shadows, another figure watches with sinister delight. A predatory grin spreads across sharp features. Looks like I'm about to get my hands on something very valuable. Danger lurks in every corner. The world after the fall begins with ordinary moments. A young man in a grocery store reaches for snacks while a curious child watches. Are you a thief? The boy asks playfully. But normalcy shatters as news breaks. Earthquakes near Seoul. Small tremors, for now. The calm before the storm. The room trembles violently. Government warnings crackle through speakers as chaos erupts. Debris crashes down with devastating force. Glass shatters everywhere. A terrified child cowers, tears streaming down their face. What the hell? Someone screams. The world as they know it is ending. In the underground chaos, a protector crouches over a frightened child. The rumbling grows louder, more threatening. Are you okay? He asks with genuine concern. The child points toward an ominous sound, innocent curiosity mixing with growing terror. What's that? Even the children sense something monstrous approaching. Across the globe, towers pierce the sky. England, Japan, Seoul. Massive structures that defy explanation appear in every major city. Families watch in horror from their windows. Officials gather in emergency meetings. These aren't just buildings, they're nightmare towers, and they're about to change everything forever. The Tower Walker badge activates with a brilliant flash. A red-haired boy stares in shock as light engulfs him completely. Those who answer the call find themselves transported to a luminous chamber. The system activates, granting them skills like a video game. But this isn't a game. This is humanity's last hope. Construction workers near ancient ruins spot something impossible. Holy crap! What is that thing? One gasps, pointing in disbelief. A dark figure stands at the cavern's edge, warning others about the danger ahead. But warnings come too late. The tower impact is imminent, and nowhere is safe. From the depths emerges pure nightmare. A creature with wild hair and rows of razor teeth roars with primal fury. Monsters swarm like locusts, ready to devour everything in their path. The loudspeaker wails its final warning. This is what they call a tower impact. Humanity's judgment day has arrived. Kaboom! The explosion rocks everything. A massive green beast with murderous eyes climbs over the wreckage, muscles rippling with supernatural power. A lone fighter in dark clothes battles desperately against this towering monstrosity. Stones shatter. The earth trembles. David faces Goliath once again. 1/3 of humanity gone. Just like that. Young walkers stand in shock, watching their world burn from within a tower. Blood streaks down terrified faces. You have been selected to become Tower Walkers, the message declares. Save the world, it promises. But can anyone truly save what's already broken? Hope ignites in desperate hearts. Let's go, they cry, rushing toward destiny. Light filters through the mystical tower as hooded figures raise triumphant fists. Armed with powers beyond imagination, they become humanity's final gambit. A dragon-like beast charges forward, but the walkers are ready. The real battle begins now. A massive rock blocks their path. There's no way we can get past this, one walker protests. But another raises his spiked hammer with determination. You really think it's that simple? Smash! The wall cracks under brutal force. It's working, and something glows within the shattered stone. What have they found? In Kan Hyung, leader of the Tower Walkers, holds the glowing regression stone high. I can go back in time with this. His excitement is infectious, but doubt creeps in. Too good to be true, he mutters. Still, he prepares to test its power. Listen up, everyone. I'll give it a try. What could possibly go wrong? Bright light captivates them all, but questions arise quickly. Can he come back? They wonder aloud. Sakamoto, the former science teacher, adjusts his glasses grimly. His knowledge of parallel universes and timeline theory suddenly becomes crucial. The stone's power isn't just about time travel. It's about fracturing reality itself. Two worlds diverge in the cosmic void. Sakamoto's revelation hits like a thunderbolt. Parallel universes have split completely. The moment Inkan used the stone, their timelines separated forever. Oh my God, that's terrible, someone cries. But one thing is certain, there's no way back. No way home. The cloaked figure explains the terrible truth. The stone sends users to different timelines. Maybe. It's just a hypothesis, but the implications are staggering. Outside, thunder rumbles ominously. A second tower has appeared, piercing the storm-torn sky. The nightmare isn't ending. It's multiplying. The green beast screeches with primal rage as the tower cracks under immense pressure. Storm clouds swirl overhead like harbingers of doom. The walkers face an impossible choice. Use the regression stone to escape to the past, or stay and fight in a world destined for destruction. What would you choose? A sword stands embedded in crimson earth, symbol of defiance or defeat. The choice crystallizes: stay and die, or flee to safety. A massive tentacled horror unleashes devastating fury. Slam! Smash! Bodies fly like ragdolls through the air. The creature's assault is relentless. Hope seems impossible now. Dark appendages tear through reality itself. Someone help! A terrified walker screams as panic consumes them all. The rugged fighter realizes the horrifying truth. There's no escape, no hope left. Another comrade with red hair surveys the chaos with grim acceptance. Sorry, but there's no hope anymore. Despair settles like death. From shadow emerges a creature of pure nightmare. Writhing tentacles and a maw lined with countless teeth. The dark-haired warrior draws twin swords. Shing! He launches himself into battle, slicing through the air with desperate precision. Slice! Slash! His movements are poetry written in violence. Splatter! Thud! The aftermath of battle leaves its mark. Are you all right? One friend asks another, genuine concern in his voice. Yeah. comes the weary reply. But their eyes follow the fleeing figures in the distance. Those bastards, they all just ran away. Betrayal cuts deeper than any monster's claw. The red-haired warrior accepts a glowing crystal, exhaustion weighing heavy on his shoulders. "Thanks," he says simply. The gesture speaks volumes about loyalty forged in battle's crucible. "I appreciate you sticking it out till the very end." Now the fate of all rests in the hands of those chosen by the mysterious stone. "Let's go," the leader commands with steely resolve. They've made their choice. Save the present world rather than flee to the past. United in purpose, they stand as humanity's last defenders. The Latin phrase echoes, carpe diem. Seize the day. Heavy breathing fills the air. The final battle awaits. A blond boy lies broken and bloodied, struggling for each breath. Nearby, the dark-haired leader sweats profusely, his expression twisted with anguish. "Where did it all go so wrong?" he asks the uncaring sky. Surrounded by smoke and fire, he grips his weapon tight. "Erf!" His scream echoes through the devastation. "Don't worry," the brave fighter shouts, dashing forward with unwavering courage. A cloaked figure prepares to leap into action. The blond swordsman raises his blade high, screaming, "It's time for you," as he charges the monstrous threat. Whoosh! Dash! Their coordinated assault begins. Heroes never retreat. 2D. The battle cry rings out as weapons spin through the air. A young fighter with light brown hair dodges through swirling red chaos, his face etched with strain. The Grand Hall shows signs of recent devastation. "Any casualties?" one asks anxiously. "Luckily, no," comes the relieved reply. "Sometimes victory has a bitter taste." Optimism flickers in the darkness. "If we keep this up, we might reach the last floor," the blonde fighter says hopefully. But when a sword flies past with a whoosh, everything changes. "Vulcanian steel," someone whispers in awe. Yet something feels wrong. Everything's going too smoothly, too perfectly, too planned. The 8th floor, Chamber of Hellfire. A monstrous entity with burning eyes and gaping maw dominates the infernal landscape. The dark-haired walker stares in horror as flames dance around them. Fnush! Sizzle! The blond boy continues struggling, each breath a battle against approaching death. Hell has many faces. The brave fighter charges forward with determination blazing in his eyes. But the monster's assault is overwhelming. Whoosh! Wham! Debris explodes everywhere. His resolve crumbles as reality crushes hope. The injured warrior on the ground speaks the devastating truth. It was all for nothing. Every sacrifice, meaningless. Ice shards rain from above as panic spreads. All the time we spent climbing the tower together, the blonde reflects bitterly. The brown-haired boy contemplates their shared journey. A bloodied fighter grimaces in agony, asking the ultimate question, is this way it was all for a pathetic death like this? The dragon looms overhead, waiting. Jaehwan fights with desperate fury, swinging his weapon through chaos and debris. His face strains with effort as he unleashes devastating slashes. Slash! Scree! Jaehwan! Snap out of it! Yunwan's voice cuts through the madness. Thud! The aftermath leaves smoke and destruction. But will his friend's call reach him? Jaehwan prepares to leap into battle, fear and determination warring in his eyes. I can't finish this beast off myself, he admits through gritted teeth. Wish. His attack lands true. Stab. But the monster retaliates. Blood drips from his mouth as shock registers. Even heroes have limits. Blood splatters as the towering beast reveals its true horror. Jagged scales, razor claws, predatory power. Yunwan. Jaehwan screams his friend's name in desperation. Crunch. The creature's movement shakes the very ground. Stomp. Its glowing red eyes reflect nothing but hunger and death. The end draws near. Ruhar. The beast cry shakes reality itself. Boom! A massive explosion engulfs everything in chaos and flame. When the dust settles, A lone figure emerges from the wreckage, dark hair matted, face bruised and bloodied. He grits his teeth, blood between them, but his eyes still burn with defiance. Jaehwan grips his weapon tight, swinging downward with tremendous force. Debris scatters like leaves. Ping! The impact resonates through the battlefield. His eye focuses with laser intensity. A mysterious figure leaps with glowing blade. What the? Jaehwan stares in wonder. What's that light? Could it be? Hope flickers in darkness. The final confrontation begins. Jaehwan faces a monstrous wolf with burning red eyes and fangs like daggers. Glare, he shouts, meeting the beast's predatory stare with unwavering courage. Their collision creates explosive energy, light and debris scattering in all directions. Two forces of nature clash in ultimate battle. In the dark cavern, lava spills from the creature's jagged maw like molten death. Yunhuan appears battle-worn and desperate, coughing in the toxic smoke. Let's go, Yunhuan, Jaehwan calls urgently. But the oppressive heat and fumes choke their words. Time runs short. The monster's realm grows stronger. A bloodied figure lies among the debris, blonde hair matted with crimson. I'm sorry, he whispers with his final breath. Jaehwan stares wide-eyed, shock freezing his features. Wait, are you? The truth hits like a hammer blow. Yunhuan Kim, the smiling knight who brought light to their darkest hours, has lost his smile forever. Standing in blood-soaked clothing, Jaehwan's voice cuts through the gloom. Get out of here, before you change your mind. The blonde warrior reflects on his lost joy, while Jaehwan holds a crimson stone tight. So you noticed? He asks quietly. I guess this stone really is too pitiful. Even power has its price. Step. Bloody footprints mark each stair as Jaehwan climbs higher, leaving crimson trails of determination. You're stronger than I thought, a voice acknowledges. Through pain and exhaustion, he grips the banister with blood-stained hands. At the summit, a silhouetted figure waits. It's you, Jaehwan whispers, recognizing destiny. At a massive stone door, the cloaked figure reaches out with trembling hands. Sunset light spills through the archway behind them, painting hope in golden hues. A single leaf drifts down like a final blessing. I need to keep moving, they think with quiet determination. Shadows watch from the corners, but the door awaits. Whoosh! A portal of icy light tears open reality. The dark-haired warrior stares in amazement, sweat beating despite the sudden cold. Beyond lies a vast frozen wasteland of towering ice formations. Snow begins to fall. Is that snow? He asks in wonder. A new world beckons through crystalline gates. Jaehwan channels his remaining power into a swirling blue orb. Every muscle strains as he prepares to unleash everything he has left. Swoosh! The energy flies true. Boom! Ice explodes in all directions, shards spinning like deadly stars. Ugh! The recoil sends him flying backward. But has he won, or merely delayed the inevitable? The ice beast thunders forward with primal fury, its crystalline form radiating deadly intent. But Jaehwan stands his ground, that familiar defiant smirk spreading across his bloodied face. Of course not, he replies with chilling confidence. He unleashes another devastating blast of icy energy, water exploding in all directions. As the chaos settles, Jaehwan pants heavily, wounded but unbroken. The question hangs in the frozen air. Who's truly winning this battle? 10 years. 10 grueling years trapped on this frozen nightmare of the 99th floor. Jaehwan slumps against the glacial wall, exhaustion etched into every line of his face. The fox-like creature materializes with mocking elegance, taunting him about hiding again. Jaehwan's jaw clenches in frustration. The 98th floor nearly killed him, but this floor makes every other challenge look like child's play. Behold the guardian of the 99th floor, Frostworm Velchisis. This ancient dragon from the Forgotten Land soars through crystalline light, its very presence freezing the air itself. Jaehwan grips his weapon tighter, knowing the truth. Without the gear left behind by fallen walkers, the Doublem's Bane, the ice demon Arner, he would have died long ago. But even with maximum cold resistance, this dragon's breath could end everything. The Fire King's bracelet glows with forgotten power. Jaehwan's hand trembles as he reaches for it, memories flooding back like a knife to the heart. Seal, her gentle smile haunts him still. I'm sorry, he whispers to her phantom image. If only he had been stronger back then. If only he could have saved her. The weight of his failures presses down like the ice around him. In the dim stone chamber, hope flickers like candlelight. The bearded blacksmith studies Jaehwan's worn face, asking if he'll try again. There's no hesitation in Jaehwan's response. He must. This time will be different. He can feel it. Above the town of Oedipus, a magnificent white beast soars through clear skies, and for the first time in years, Jaehwan allows himself to believe victory might be possible. Death floods the streets of Oedipus daily. Bodies pile up as broken walkers stumble home, but the townspeople refuse to surrender. Priests form rescue teams, while blacksmiths forge weapons for free, pouring their hearts into humanity's fight. In the forge, hammer strikes ring like church bells of defiance. Jaehwan watches this sacrifice with growing weight on his conscience. These people believe in a cause that might already be lost. The brutal truth cuts deeper than any blade. For months, no new minerals have arrived. 10 tower impacts have shattered the world, and on the first floor, silence. No one answers the tower's call anymore. The bearded smith's words hang heavy in the air. Perhaps there's no one left out there at all. Jaehwan stares at the desolate landscape, confronting the possibility that humanity has already fallen. A memory surfaces like ice breaking. Someone once scribbled about a nightmare within a nightmare. Words that meant nothing then, everything now. Old Lady Hiren vanished days ago. Another soul lost to this endless mystery. People either retreat to the past, or something far worse happens. The bloodied figure in Jaehwan's mind serves as a grim reminder of the tower's true cost. Blood stains the floor where hope once stood. In this stone chamber where sunlight struggles to penetrate, Jaehwan sits with the weight of truth crushing his shoulders. Jay the blacksmith, one of Oedipus's last supporters, sweats from endless labor. When Jaehwan asks to share blacksmith skills, the tension crackles. A hand suddenly commands him to freeze. Something is coming. The muscular smith raises his hammer like a weapon of judgment. So, human, are you done playing hide-and-seek? His words echo through the tower's depths. No one in history has ever attempted the 99th floor alone. No one has been foolish enough to try. Yet here stands this remarkable human, defying every precedent. Even the ice creature acknowledges it with grudging respect. Jaehwan's bitter laughter cuts through the frozen air. The last compliment he'll ever receive comes from a monster, not a fellow human being. How perfectly tragic. The crystalline wolf bares its fangs, declaring such cooperation impossible between their species. But Jaehwan's confident grin suggests otherwise. Perhaps this monster doesn't know him as well as it thinks. Victory dances on a knife's edge. Jaehwan notices the first crack in his enemy's precious armor, and his smirk widens with predatory satisfaction. The crystalline beast roars in fury, its arrogance finally shattered. I'm done messing around with you, it declares, preparing for a final, devastating assault. The air itself seems to hold its breath as both warriors ready themselves for the climactic moment. Icy light explodes in a symphony of destruction. Ice shards spin like deadly stars as the title blazes across the chaos, the world after the fall. A warning flashes about violent content, as if the universe itself knows what's coming. Boom! Foom! Kaboom! The sounds of war echo through frozen eternity. This is it, the moment everything changes. Blood decorates the crystalline battlefield like crimson flowers on white snow. The beast stomps forward with earth-shaking force, each footfall a promise of doom. Still not giving up, HUH, it roars. Its words carry the weight of certainty. No matter how hard the human fights, nothing will change. But in the shadow of those crystal formations, defiance still breathes. The wolf's words cut deeper than claws ever could. You'll still be completely alone and miserable, Jaehwan. It speaks his name like a curse, a prophecy of eternal isolation. Ice formations shatter with a thunderous crack, mirroring the fractures in Jaehwan's soul. But even facing this psychological assault, Jaehwan fires back his defiant response. You talk too much. The dance of death begins in earnest. Jaehwan weaves between the crystal dragon's crushing blows, his movements fluid despite the chaos. Clang! Wham! Each impact sends ice shards flying like missiles. The creature mocks his pathetic techniques, but Jaehwan's smirk remains. While others collected hidden skills, he perfected one simple truth: sometimes specialization beats diversification. 50 million stabs. 50 million moments of death delivered by his blade. What started as simple combat became something transcendent. His companions once joked, "Were you a wasp in your past life?" But they didn't understand. Through endless repetition, Jaehwan transformed basic stabbing into an art form. Faster, more accurate, stronger. What was once crude technique became a hidden skill. But even mastery has limits. Jaehwan's blade finds its mark again and again, yet this enemy's armor proves nearly impenetrable. Blood stains his clothes as frustration mounts. Hundreds of stabs just to make a scratch? The icy foe roars its challenge, while Jaehwan curses his predicament. Time's running out, and the space to dodge is shrinking. He's in trouble. Light, the same brilliant light that saved him on the 96th floor, blazes forth once more. Recognition floods Jaehwan's features as memories align with reality. His grip tightens on his weapon, and something fundamental shifts inside him. The wolf creature roars in response, but Jaehwan's expression has changed. If this light means what he thinks it does. Wabam! Jaehwan strikes with renewed fury, ice shards exploding around the impact. But the crystalline dragon adapts, each counterattack more vicious than the last. Jaehwan's face shows fresh bruises, blood marking his determination. "You little bastard," he snarls, frustration evident. His enhanced technique still isn't enough to decapitate this monster. The dance continues, neither fighter yielding an inch. Crystalline wings unfurl like death's embrace. The creature prepares its ultimate technique, channeling devastating energy into a final aerial assault. "I'm going to finish you once and for all." The blast erupts with tremendous force, and Jaehwan leaps desperately away. Shit, another aerial attack. But in this deadly ballet, one mistake could mean everything. The battlefield trembles with unleashed power. Blood streams down Jaehwan's face as the cruel mathematics of defeat become clear. Damn it, I'm never going to win like this. The ice creature's smugness is unbearable as it calculates odds. 10 more humans like Jaehwan might have stood a chance. But Jaehwan's defiant spirit burns even brighter. "Shut up. You're barely hanging in there yourself." Even in despair, he refuses to surrender. Confusion floods Jaehwan's features as cryptic words fill the air. "What are you talking about?" Before he can process the answer, the wolf creature charges with earth-shattering force. Slam! Its claws rake against ice while the ground crumbles beneath them. Jaehwan approaches a massive door, his breathing labored from the chase. Each step forward brings him closer to answers or annihilation. The taste of mortality lingers on Jaehwan's bloodied lips. That was close. If that monster had scratched me there at the end, I'd be dead. But the crystal dragon's final revelation chills him more than its breath ever could. Fellow humans deceived by something called the Nightmare Stone. The phrase echoes ominously as the story leaps 5 years into a frozen future. Victory tastes like ice and exhaustion. The crystalline figure rises from the battlefield wreckage as notifications flood the air. Nightmare of a 99th floor, a title earned through blood and determination. Health, strength, agility all maximized. But as achievements pile up like snow, overwhelming in their abundance, Only one reaction seems appropriate. So many pop up. Even triumph comes with paperwork. In the aftermath's eerie silence, a voice cuts through the crystalline formations. Hey! Jaehwan's blood-soaked form tenses as questions bubble up. What the hell are nightmare stones? The answer comes with chilling certainty. He already knows, deep down. Among the spoils of victory, he discovers the sword of transcending vitality. Except, it looks more like a dagger. Nothing here is what it seems. Dark water swirls into existence, forming a gate that defies comprehension. Jaehwan watches with cautious fascination as liquid shadows glurp and swoosh around him. What's this? A gate. But curiosity has always been stronger than caution in his heart. Let's see what's in there. The words leave his lips like a prayer or a curse. The last floor awaits. Water rushes with the sound of inevitability. Whoosh! The control room monitors flicker with urgent data. Another warning about violent content scrolls past like a digital omen. The world after the fall continues its relentless march toward revelation. Splash! Something enters the water, and the ripples spread outward like fate itself. Where's this place? Jaehwan floats in dark water, his piercing eyes searching for answers that refuse to come. The title burns across reality, the world after the fall, as slosh sounds mark his disoriented movements. Around him, faded landscapes flicker like dying memories. This realm exists between reality and dream, and Jaehwan has just become its newest prisoner. Golden light bathes a transformed landscape as Jaehwan surveys the impossible. Is this what the tower looks like now? The familiar structure has become something alien, something wrong. A voice speaks of the tower's call, of adipose, while Jaehwan struggles to understand how quickly everything has changed. The tower that once represented hope now feels like a monument to deception. Ding! The system's congratulations ring hollow in the strange space. First person from World 294 to complete the tutorial game. Tutorial? The word crashes into Jaehwan's consciousness like a physical blow. His achievement will be recorded in the Akashic records, accessible only to masters of the Great Realm. But what does this mean? In murky water, a red-haired figure stares with wide, fearful eyes. The truth is more terrible than any monster. Water explodes around a confident figure who seems to command the very chaos itself. Oh my, you seem rather shocked. Their amusement is palpable, almost mocking. The warning comes wrapped in false concern. Don't let emotions consume you. Splash. Rumble. The sounds of upheaval echo through the aquatic realm. But consumed by what? And why does this entity find Jaehwan's shocks so entertaining? Glowing yellow eyes pierce the stormy darkness as wild. Curly hair frames a face that speaks of ancient malevolence. It almost seems like it's already too late. The creature muses with disturbing calm. Its words shift to mockery wrapped in false praise. Don't be too upset. You did very well for a human. The pause hangs heavy in the air. For a human. As if humanity itself is just another game piece. The confrontation finally has a face and a name. Re-Ephesian, a demon with glowing eyes and an unsettlingly cheerful demeanor. Who are you? Jaehwan demands, but the answer brings no comfort. This demon expresses genuine joy at Jaehwan's achievement. No one has ever reached the tutorial's top floor alone before. Tutorial. That word again, poisoning every victory Jaehwan thought he'd earned. The demon's suit and wild hair give him an almost businesslike appearance as he promises to show Jaehwan something important. But does this mean the nightmare isn't over? Jaehwan's stress shows in every line of his face as he processes the implications. Others look on with alarm and confusion. What's happening? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Nothing is as it seems. A mysterious door beckons, and companions gather around Jaehwan with words of encouragement. 3 people are better than 2. Jaehwan introduces himself with sword in hand, a fighter from Seoul, South Korea. But the mention of river parks carries weight, hinting at a world that may be lost forever. Blood surrounds them like prophecy, and someone speaks ominously of significant events approaching. Tragedy unfolds in fragments of memory and blood. A figure with flowing hair and a scarred cheek speaks of unknown consequences. No one knew that all this. An unconscious man lies pale and broken while desperate voices plead for him to open his eyes. The dark-haired character reflects on the emotional devastation of this moment. Memories of sorrow, anger, regret flood back. And now, an offer, the chance to start this game over. The revelation strikes like lightning. From the very beginning, this world, this struggle, this tower, all of it existed beyond simple games or movies. A chance to alter misfortunes, to rewrite destiny itself. Jaehwan's confusion deepens as the truth unfolds. He thought climbing the tower would save the world, but what if the tower was never real? A notification appears, offering him the choice to become a tower walker. Accept or decline. The words hit like hammer blows. This was all just a trick. From the very start, there was no way to stop the tower's impact. No salvation, no heroic victory. All they could do was keep climbing, trapped in an endless cycle. The desolate environment speaks of humanity's true fate. Yet in the radiant light, the word saving humanity blazes with desperate hope. Hands reach upward through golden chaos, desperate, hopeful, grasping for salvation that was their only hope. The dark-haired figure expresses uncertainty with a simple but, while another asks if he's ready for what comes next. His response carries the weight of absolute determination. I'm not going back. In the shadows, glowing eyes dismiss this declaration with a contemptuous huff. Some choices can never be undone. A blue creature with an impossibly wide mouth of sharp teeth prepares its final gambit. Its maniacal laughter echoes through the tower's depths. Ra-ha-ha! The cloaked figure stands firm in defiance, but the creature's words cut deep. Still hung up about the past? Let it make one thing crystal clear. There is no item in this tower that can grant the power they seek. Jaehwan's confusion spreads across his bloodied features. What do you mean? The answer comes like a death sentence. Fellow humans devoured by nightmare stones, their fates sealed by deception. The ominous figure with icy spikes delivers its verdict with cold satisfaction. What a shame. But then Jaehwan's voice cuts through the despair with urgent correction. It's not a regression stone. The purple nightmare stone glows with malevolent light as the shadowy figure explains its true nature. Those who used it don't travel back in time. They're trapped forever in dreams created by demons. The cloaked character reflects on his disbelief, knowing others didn't dare resist during their fabricated realities. Understanding dawns like a curse. They all share this sensation of being trapped between truth and lie. The moment of choice arrives with digital finality. Tutorial complete. Glows on the orange screen as the cloaked figure encourages action with barely contained sarcasm. The rational choice seems obvious. Press no and restart the game. But as understanding crystallizes, the truth becomes undeniable. This isn't about returning to the past. It's about restarting a simulation. The game was always the cage. The Nightmare Tower stands revealed. Fortress of regret, prison of false hopes. Its victims believe they answer a heroic call, but trap themselves in dreams created by the dream demon Malak. Jaehwan's eyes burn with terrible clarity. He was already trapped in this tower's dream from the beginning. The blue creature with yellow eyes snarls in anticipation. And now, with deadly certainty, Jaehwan speaks his truth. I'm going to kill you. On the reflective surface where reality meets illusion, Jaehwan stands transformed. His rugged black outfit and flowing brown cape mark him as something beyond human desperation. His declaration cuts through the air like a blade. On to the next floor. The warning about graphic content feels almost redundant now. When someone threatens to kill a demon who's tormented them with lies, violence becomes inevitable. Sword in hand, Jaehwan demands passage to the next floor with the authority of someone who's seen through every deception. The shadowy figure responds with condescension, offering hidden items and souls as bribes. But Jaehwan's expression shows no interest in such trinkets. The whoosh and thud of movement signal the end of negotiation. Some conversations can only be settled with steel. Jaehwan's dismissal is absolute and profane. I don't need any of that crap. The creature offers him return to his old world, revealing that there never was a tower impact. It was all dream. But as the scene shifts to apparent normalcy, with friends discussing movie tickets and mundane concerns, the cheerful facade feels more terrifying than any monster. Is this the reward for accepting a lie? Reality fractures as people express shock and confusion. Huh, what the hell? A woman gasps about forgetting something important while chaos swirls around them. The whoosh of movement suggests rapid changes in perception. So you're finally starting to understand. Comes the ominous voice. No one is real. The question hangs in the air. Are you surprised? Truth and illusion blur beyond recognition. The final revelation arrives in a sterile hospital room. Patients lie unconscious in rows of beds, while Jaehwan stares in growing horror at one particular figure. The mysterious character explains these patients remain lost in their artificial dreams. And then the question that shatters everything. Is that me? The body on the bed looks exactly like him. Has he been unconscious this entire time, living a lie while his real body wastes away? But Jaehwan's defiance runs deeper than anyone imagined. Standing bloodied in his tattered brown clothes, sword gleaming in the dim light, he faces this ancient tormentor with unwavering resolve. The entity mocks him, revealing that while decades may have passed in this hellish realm, in the real world, barely a month has gone by. Time itself has been weaponized against him. Yet the creature's confidence wavers as it adds one final taunt. He'll never beat them anyway. Jaehwan's voice cuts through the darkness like steel through shadow. He's already defeated a dragon. What is one more monster? But the grotesque figure with blazing blue eyes erupts in fury. Such arrogance. The battle cry echoes as steel meets darkness. Thrust. The golden-hilted blade pierces forward with deadly precision. In this world after the fall, even the impossible becomes reality. The creaking door opens to reveal Jaehwan's torment. Day after day, the same crushing defeat. Yesterday was day 72 of this nightmare, and still that demon remains untouchable. His exhausted voice echoes through the flickering candlelight as he confesses his failure. No matter what strategy he tries, no matter how hard he fights, he can't even scratch it. The shadow with piercing eyes watches his despair with cold satisfaction. Sweat beads on Jaehwan's forehead as confusion clouds his mind. What do they expect from him? The mysterious figure looms closer, their rugged features twisted in cruel amusement. But then comes the chilling warning, don't kill him. He's a product to be sold, a commodity. The beast's fangs gleam as it emphasizes the point with a threatening bite. Meanwhile, the cloaked figure casually munches popcorn, treating this human's suffering as mere entertainment. The cultivation process unfolds with sinister precision. In the Great Realm, products are selected in two stages. First, during the tutorial game, the suited hand sorts through seeds like a farmer choosing crops. Then comes the ripening process in the main game. The muscular warrior stares at the sprouting plant, while blue energy crackles around mysterious figures. But how can they move to the next stage when their perfect product refuses to cooperate? The brown-haired figure floats, suspended in ethereal space, their words chilling. Killing someone in the tower doesn't affect their soul anyway. But the dark entity with hollow eyes raises a terrifying question. What if his soul is damaged because he's too powerful? The harvesters wouldn't be pleased. Calculations must be precise. The hooded figure grips his sword tighter, knowing even gods are watching this twisted game unfold. Black water erupts as the dark figure emerges once again. Jaehwan's frustration explodes. Not again. The clash of steel rings out as he demands answers. What do you want? Why are you doing this? The cloaked menace responds with smugness that cuts deeper than any blade. It's just a game, after all. They're trying to have a little fun. human suffering as entertainment. The cycle of torment continues. Thunder rumbles as Jaehwan grips his sword, determination hardening into steel. The snap of breaking limits echoes through the storm. His cape billows as lightning energy surges around him. He's had enough of this endless torment. The sword whistles through air with a desperate swish, followed by an explosive boom that scatters debris like confetti. Sometimes the only way forward is to break everything in your path. In the rocky cave's depths, bloodstains tell the story of Jaehwan's struggle. The shadowy figure looms over him, demanding answers about his next move. Jaehwan's voice cracks with defiance. Why do you want to know this? The revelation comes like a blade to the heart. He plans to advance to the next floor, but the shadow's command is absolute. Ignore him, go again. The torture continues. In the cosmic void, truth unfolds like a map of infinity. The suited figure with glowing yellow eyes delivers a revelation that shatters understanding. Their universe doesn't consist of just one dimension. Parallel worlds exist everywhere, scattered like stars in an endless sky. Earth is merely one small planet among countless others. The man with dark hair leans forward, intrigue replacing disbelief as the concept of the Nightmare Tower's true scope becomes clear. The twisted entity reveals the brutal truth about adaptation. Walkers learn to survive the Great Realm's crystals, gaining power to endure new worlds. But demons like him? They're here to raise gamers in this sick game. Jaehwan clutches the glowing orb, confusion written across his face. Why? The question hangs in the air as dark claws emerge with a threatening snap. Some answers come with a price too terrible to pay. Against the backdrop of the looming Nightmare Tower, Jaehwan clutches his sword with trembling hands. The figure in the long coat poses the question that burns in his mind. Out of all the peripheral worlds, why did they appear in his world and summon this tower of nightmares? The monstrous figure with blue teeth grins wickedly. His world was going along simply until they decided to harvest it. A tattered teddy bear lies forgotten, innocence crushed underfoot. In the cave's oppressive darkness, Jaehwan presses for answers about the Nightmare Tower's purpose. The sinister figure with wild hair and glowing eyes deflects with casual cruelty. What do you gain from this torture? The response chills him to the bone. It's like volunteer work. The demon actually enjoys this suffering. Smoke swirls ominously as yellow eyes gleam with sadistic pleasure. Some monsters wear smiles that never reach their souls. The shadowy figure paints a picture of paradise with dripping sarcasm, a place where humans, beasts, and others live in perfect harmony. Do you believe me now? But a message interrupts the mockery. Product not ready to collect. Don't kill him. Keep talking. The game must continue. Jaehwan's response cuts through the lies like a blade through silk. Bullshit. Truth and deception dance their eternal waltz in this cosmic theater. On the frozen ground, Jaehwan stares at his character information with growing horror. Maximum level. All abilities maxed out. Every stat pushed to its absolute limit. That's it, he realizes with crushing finality. Despite achieving godlike power by human standards, he still can't beat that demon. The yellow display mocks him with its perfect numbers. The nightmare figure's eyes gleam with satisfaction. Even perfection has its boundaries. Among the jagged ice formations, doubt creeps into Jaehwan's mind like poison. Are stats like these really not enough for a human to beat a demon? His torn cloak whips around him as realization dawns. Maybe it's this world's system itself that limits him. A strange feeling washes over him, alien yet familiar. The light-haired figure appears with a glowing aura, representing possibilities beyond his current understanding. What was that sensation? In the crystal-filled cave, enlightenment strikes like lightning. Jaehwan's hand reaches toward the glowing orbs as understanding floods his consciousness. The world around him, it's an illusion. The flash of light reveals the truth hidden beneath layers of deception. Sometimes constructs shift and change, presenting false realities to trap the unwary. The whoosh of mystical energy announces his breakthrough. Reality itself is negotiable. The conversation turns to power structures beyond imagination. Who are the masters? Jaehwan's serious expression reflects the weight of this knowledge. The shadowy figure explains with theatrical grandeur. They're the rulers of the great realm. Only those deemed worthy can join their cosmic hierarchy through party recommendations. The imposing creature with glowing blue accents stands as testament to their authority. But what exactly is a party recommendation in this twisted game? The fanged figure grins with predatory satisfaction. Jaehwan's future depends entirely on which master he chooses, but only if he volunteers for the main game. The sales pitch feels like poison honey. You sound like an insurance salesman. Jaehwan retorts with bitter humor. The demon's offense is almost comical, but resignation creeps into Jaehwan's voice as he accepts the inevitable. Fine, I'll do as you say. Sometimes surrender is just another form of strategy. The energy shifts with a powerful FWOSH as Jaehwan makes his declaration. In exactly 10 days, he'll leave this cursed place. The title, The World After the Fall, marks a transition into something greater. 9 days later, transformation is evident. The same broken man now moves with deadly precision, his sword carving through enemies with a resounding POW. Scars tell the story of his journey, but his eyes burn with newfound purpose. In a darkened cave, frustration boils over. For Christ's sake, Jaehwan mutters as sweat glistens on his blade. The shadowy figure with glowing eyes vents their own anger. Those dream demons trick them into buying this worthless tower. Sneaky bastards. What was promised as expert-level engineering turned out to be first-generation junk. Even demons can be scammed, it seems. But their anger makes them dangerous. The demonic figure with flowing hair seethes over their failed purchase. What was sold as an expert-level tower turned out to be obsolete garbage. But the real problem emerges. This first-generation nightmare tower won't function without the product's consent. The young man panics at the prompt. Accept or decline. Meanwhile, a sorrowful figure reflects on poverty's cruel irony. At least it works okay, they mutter. Sometimes broken dreams are all we can afford. The moment of choice arrives with clinical precision. Game rules and notifications cascade across the display as the ominous game master poses the critical question. Do you accept the proposal? Jaehwan's reply comes with weary resignation. Yeah, thanks. The weight of memorizing files and preparing for what's ahead presses down like a mountain. All right now. The words hang in the air like a death sentence waiting to be carried out. Emotion overwhelms the suited figure as tears threaten to fall. He's been waiting for this day for so long, it's getting emotional. The boom of explosive energy tears through the air as Jaehwan unleashes his power. Polished black shoes hint at authority arriving. But then comes the question that stops everything cold. Jaehwan, what do you think you're doing? The golden weapon glows in his grip as the FWOSH of energy builds to a crescendo. In a mystical cave filled with swirling golden particles, Jaehwan's fury reaches its peak. Can't you tell? His voice echoes off ancient walls as magical energy dances around him. As of this moment, he declares with steel in his voice, I'm going to keep attacking you. The sword gleams as he lunges forward with devastating intent. Jab! Ever since he started seeing these mysterious particles, everything has changed. The game itself trembles. Doubt creeps into Jaehwan's mind as he examines his glowing dagger. Something feels wrong with every stab attempt. Each strike against the demon fell off, as if some invisible force was interfering with his attacks. But now, the swoosh of movement cuts through shadows as he lunges with renewed purpose. Glimmer announces the birth of hope as light erupts around him. Slash! Finally, the strike feels true and clean. Golden light explodes around Jaehwan as a profound question echoes in his mind. Is this what it feels like to be alive? His disheveled appearance can't hide the wonder in his eyes. Energy buzzes and rumbles through the mystical environment as he reaches towards something greater. This isn't just about defeating demons anymore. This is about discovering what it truly means to exist beyond the artificial constraints they've placed on his soul. The shadowy hand moves with a sinister swoosh as the confrontation intensifies. The dark-haired man stands firm against the intimidating presence. "I've never met anyone like you before," admits the menacing figure. Tendrils squeeze around Jaehwan as the stakes escalate. Without consent, his opponent was powerless. But that truth crumbles as the shadow reveals their hand. They gave up on getting consent long ago. The rules have changed. In the mystical cave's depths, a crucial revelation unfolds. There's something about this nightmare tower that changes everything. The shadowy figure with tendrils explains the twisted logic. If Jaehwan allows them to pass after the tutorial, the game might end automatically. But that's not the plan. You're going to stay right there until it's time for the main game. They call you the Nightmare, don't they? The web tightens around its prey. The revelation hits like a thunderbolt. This figure is 78 years old, has traversed 128 worlds. The young man looks up in shock as the truth emerges. They plan to hand him over to the Master of Darkness. The shadowy entity with jagged teeth demands answers. "Who the hell are you?" But Jaehwan's response carries the weight of years of manipulation. "I'm the product you've been cultivating here for decades." The hunter becomes the hunted. Jaehwan's transformation reaches its crescendo with 3 words that shatter everything. But not anymore. The explosion that follows rocks the very foundation of reality. Kaboom echoes through dimensions as debris flies in all directions. The world after the fall heralds a new chapter, the stage of awakening. Cartoon illustrations hint at evolution beyond mortal comprehension. The product has become something they never anticipated. With a twisted smile that promises destruction, Jaehwan delivers his final declaration. "I'm the product you've been manipulating here for decades." But not anymore. The shadowy force sweeps down like the wrath of gods. Boom! The explosion tears through reality itself as Ka reverberates through the chaos. Ping echoes in the aftermath. The cultivated has broken free from the cultivator. The game is over. Steel meets darkness in a symphony of destruction. Slash cuts through the air as Jaehwan's sword finds its mark. The mystical blue chaos swirls around them, both as Clang announces the demon's counterattack. Push of energy displaces the very air as combatants dance their deadly waltz. Menacing claws scrape against divine steel. This isn't just a battle. It's a revolution against the order of worlds. The figure plummets with a thunderous thud as energy and debris cascade around them. The tall, cloaked man emerges from the chaos, shock written across his features. "I don't believe it. How on earth?" Blue energy crackles ominously nearby. The shadowy figure with yellow eyes materializes, jagged teeth gleaming. What could it be? The realization strikes like lightning. Yes, we are in peril. The swoosh of energy confirms their worst fears. In the swirling, ethereal realm, Jaehwan stands transformed. The Dudyuan of cosmic forces resonates as his black cloak billows with newfound power. Golden light frames his sharp features as memories flash before him. Ever since that day when he first reached the 100th floor, the fragmented memory board reveals glimpses of his journey. This is more than victory. This is transcendence. The product has evolved into something unprecedented. Blood-stained and weary, Jaehwan reflects on the cycles of doubt that have plagued him. Maybe this is just a dream, too. Maybe that demon can't even kill me. Over and over again, these thoughts have tormented him. His tattered cloak speaks of countless battles as shadows loom in the fragmented architecture around him. But something has shifted. The world's unraveling has become his opportunity to break free. When doubt finally died, action was born. Jaehwan's sword cuts through reality with devastating force. Swoosh! The blue and yellow burst illuminates the battlefield as debris flies like confetti of destruction. Rumble announces the Earth's protest against this cosmic battle. The fierce creature's razor teeth gleam as it declares the sync limitation has been lifted temporarily. The gloves are off. All restrictions have been removed. The monstrous figure looms with fiery eyes and dark malevolence. Blood flows as steel clashes in the chaos. Crash, clang, slash. The symphony of combat reaches its crescendo. The dark-haired warrior's determination blazes despite his injuries. The taunt comes with grudging respect. Impressive that he's reached the second stage of adaptation after just finishing the tutorial. Yet you're still only human. Some limitations can't be transcended. Or can they? On the brink of death, Jaehwan stares at his blood-soaked hand sliding away. Is this really the end? The question hangs in the air like smoke. No. His clenched fist bleeds defiance as red text counts down the moments. I'm going to keep stabbing. The words become a mantra of resistance. Even in the face of absolute defeat, his spirit refuses to break. Death is just another opponent to overcome. The dark figure's glowing eyes mock Jaehwan's persistence. You have to play the main game anyway. You're only hurting yourself by doing this to me. But pain has become Jaehwan's teacher. 9,999,999,999, 10 billion. The numbers represent his journey beyond human limits. And finally, when he surpassed those boundaries, all the rules began to crumble before his eyes. Reality itself bends to his will. Oblivion becomes enlightenment. The character with spiky hair, half illuminated and cracked like broken porcelain, finds freedom in understanding. After suspecting and questioning the world around him, he finally escaped from himself as defined by this artificial reality. I finally felt like I was truly human. The monstrous figure represents the confusion that once clouded his vision. Now everything that didn't make sense before becomes crystal clear. Dark blood oozes from mysterious rock as a beam of light slices through the connection between demon and tower. The ethereal dragon figure radiates brilliant blue energy against the darkness. Dash. The character in the tattered coat plunges downward with deadly intent. Blue energy encircles their weapon as they prepare to strike. But when the moment of truth arrives, shock overwhelms them. What the? Nothing could have prepared them for this revelation. Desperation grips Jaehwan as the shadowy figure with glowing blue eyes makes a terrifying declaration. This isn't just adaptation. The revelation sends shockwaves through his understanding. How could this be? The wham of impact follows as violent energy erupts. BZZZT. Electricity arcs through the air as power beyond comprehension manifests. What Jaehwan thought was his evolution was merely the beginning of something far more dangerous. Dark energy roars from the central point as golden and blue light intertwine around Jaehwan's bloodied form. Slam echoes through dimensions as forces beyond mortal understanding collide. Ugh! Pain courses through him as he grits his teeth against the cosmic storm. But through the agony comes clarity. Listen carefully. His voice cuts through chaos like a blade through silk. The final lesson is about to begin. Has he awoken? The question rings out as Jaehwan, bruised and bloodied, declares his revelation. Human beings aren't just things for demons to trade. His torn cloak whips around him as righteous fury builds. Excellent standards and problematic ratings mean nothing now. I'm not going along with your little game anymore. The shadowy figure with yellow eyes can only watch as their perfectly cultivated product rebels. I'm going to destroy this place. Standing among shattered glass, Jaehwan grips his sword with newfound purpose. I'm going to climb all the way to the top. His messy black hair frames, eyes burning with determination. And when I get there, I'll finally see the end of this damn world that you demons created. Light breaks through the darkness as rumble shakes the foundation of their artificial reality. And no, the demons realize their perfect product has become their perfect enemy. Glass shards float mysteriously as desperate pleas fill the air. Please. But Jaehwan's response cuts through the begging like steel through flesh. No, there is. The shadowy figure stands firm, cloaked and sword raised, challenging the very concept of limits. Jaehwan leans against the stone wall, injured but unbroken. I'm not just sturdy. The admission carries weight beyond physical endurance. He's becoming something that defies their understanding. On the Nightmare Tower's fourth floor, cryptic messages cover the walls like scars. The dark-haired man traces the inscriptions with pale contemplation. All Nightmare Towers are mere imitations of the first at the top of the Tree of Illusion. These are messages from Malak, the creator himself. The top of the Tree of Illusion. Understanding dawns. They're at the roots, fighting shadows when they should be climbing toward the source of all deception. Through that ceiling, Jaehwan's fierce determination manifests as lightning and energy crackle around him. Whoosh! Power beyond mortal comprehension builds to a crescendo. Boom! The explosive force erupts upward, tearing through the tower structure. No! My tower! The anguished cry echoes as his actions shatter more than stone and steel. The system calculates his tutorial record as reality itself struggles to process what he's become. The system struggles with an unprecedented situation. Calculating, an unexpected error occurred. Calculation failed. The search for remaining walkers in the Nightmare Tower yields an impossible result. No walkers found. The brown-haired boy with a weary expression clenches his fist in frustration. The transition from dark, shattered floors to a bright tropical jungle marks the end of one nightmare and the beginning of something entirely new. But what waits beyond? The jungle breathes with primal hunger. Jaehwan emerges from the tropical maze, eyes scanning for something crucial. I finally found it, he whispers. But the forest has other plans. Stomp! A massive paw crashes down beside him. Red eyes pierce through the shadows. The wolf creature grins with razor fangs, its growl echoing like thunder. Jaehwan's blood runs cold. This isn't just any predator. This is death incarnate. The beast lunges with murderous intent. Jaehwan strikes desperately, but his blade barely scratches the monster's hide. A shallow stab against such overwhelming power? Doubt creeps into his mind like poison. The wolf's red eyes burn with ancient malice as it prepares another assault. In this twisted realm, his previous victories mean nothing. The creature's massive frame towers over him, a living nightmare made flesh.
But Jaehwan isn't done yet. His sword cuts through the air with deadly precision. The normal stab finds its mark. Blood erupts from the creature's flesh as it staggers back in shock. The ground shakes from the impact of his assault. When the dust settles, Jaehwan stands victorious over his fallen foe. The monsters here are weak, he declares with cold satisfaction. One realm conquered. But how many more await?
Then he sees them. Humans. The word explodes from his lips in disbelief. But these aren't quite human. Horned creatures in flowing white robes emerge from the shadows. A green-skinned beast raises its arms in rage, shouting about precious horned creatures. Jaehwan's mind races. Even with his enhanced abilities, their language remains a mystery. He holds up a horn, proposing a desperate bargain for information.
Diplomacy fails. Jaehwan dashes forward as the green-skinned warriors attack. Their weapons clash in a shower of sparks. Do that one more time and I'll kill you, he warns, but they don't understand. Or perhaps they simply don't care. His blade finds its mark again, and he stands over another fallen enemy. Answer me, where's this place? But dead creatures tell no tales.
Jaehwan grips the next creature by its throat, forcing it to meet his gaze. The beast snarls and threatens to kill him, but fear flickers in its red eyes. He calculates their strength, dangerous enough to kill unprepared travelers, but nothing compared to what he's already survived. Another enemy falls. Another question goes unanswered. This realm guards its secrets jealously. Among the fallen creatures, Jaehwan discovers their possessions. An inventory bag, crude but functional. His frustration grows as he realizes the truth. No vital information. No answers. Just colorful minerals scattered like false promises. He reflects on his limitations since leaving the Nightmare Tower. The system that once aided him is gone. Now he must gather resources the hard way, one bloody victory at a time. The stones glitter with deceptive beauty. Are they jewelers or something? Jaehwan wonders, examining the colorful gems. Each creature carried these treasures, but their purpose remains unclear. Space constraints force difficult choices. Some items must be abandoned. Then the forest shudders with new threats. Rattles and buzzes echo through the undergrowth. Danger never sleeps in this realm. Beneath the swaying palms, Jaehwan makes a discovery that changes everything. A broken fragment catches his eye, part of an ancient map showing the Tree of Illusion. His heart races as he studies the chaotic markings. This wasn't in the demon's files. This is something else entirely. Something that might finally provide the answers he desperately seeks. But chaos, what does that word truly mean here? The jungle erupts with new arrivals. Monsters snarl from the undergrowth, but something else moves through the trees. A figure in black with striking red hair strides forward with deadly confidence. Her piercing eyes survey the battlefield like a predator evaluating prey. This isn't just another lost wanderer. This is someone who belongs in this violent realm. Someone dangerous. Steel meets flesh. The red-haired warrior staggers as a blade finds his knee, but he grins through the pain. I'll let it slide because she's cute, he growls, more amused than angry. Nearby companions panic as they spot something far more dangerous, a two-horned beast approaching through the shadows. The playful violence suddenly turns deadly serious. Some threats demand respect, even from seasoned killers. Chaos erupts as a dragon-like figure charges with primal fury. A cloaked observer calls for everyone to gather, questioning how these people even survive the Nightmare Tower. They're reckless, dangerous, and completely outmatched by what's coming. Fire King's breath ignites as another warrior channels flame-wreathed power. The air crackles with competing energies. This isn't just a battle, it's a collision of titans. The red-haired warrior brandishes his hooked blades, cursing his female companion for her help. She laughs, claiming innocence even as chaos unfolds around them. Then the dragon strikes. Its massive form engulfs the battlefield as warriors leap from cliffs above. Blood spatters across the tropical paradise. The two-horned beast's glowing eyes promise swift death to anyone foolish enough to challenge it directly. Jaehwan's glowing blue weapon cuts through the madness like a beacon. Blood explodes across the battlefield as a strike finds its mark. The massive red-skinned monster roars in rage and pain, its eyes wide with disbelief. The very ground trembles beneath their feet as the environment begins to collapse. Amidst the swirling chaos of dust and debris, Jaehwan stands resolute. His weapon burns with defiant light. In the aftermath, unlikely alliances form. The red-haired warrior questions Jaehwan's confidence, but receives only a mysterious smile in return. Be my guest, Jaehwan says, already calculating his next move. They discuss the fallen two-horned beast, usually requiring 10 warriors to defeat. But Jaehwan had faced a 5-horned creature with just a normal stab. The implications are staggering. More horns mean greater power, and he's only scratching the surface. The red-haired woman fixes Jaehwan with an intense stare, her sinister smile hiding deeper calculations. Who are you, she demands. Where the heck are you from? Her questions cut deeper than blades. In all of chaos, adapted players who could defeat two-horned beasts with simple stabs are nearly mythical. Jaehwan's single-word response sends chills through the group. Chaos. The very foundation of their understanding begins to crack. In the mist-shrouded forest, the final revelation awaits. Jaehwan's serious gaze meets the woman's troubled eyes as he asks the question that will shatter everything. What's chaos? Her confused response, a simple what, reveals the truth. They know nothing. They understand nothing. And Jaehwan has just discovered he's been fighting in a world that doesn't even exist. The world after the fall has only just begun.